Splot Studios, talking about World War II more than we make movies, proudly presents
TomHanksgiving, right here every Tuesday. TomHanksgiving, come on and press play. There's Elvis, the host with the most, yada 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 yada. With a different guest each week, they're the smart ones. Each episode's a new movie about Tom Hanks, the man himself. Of course, it's time for TomHanksgiving. It's the best you can get. It's the rootinest, tootinest podcast on the internet. TomHanksgiving.
Howdy, partner, and welcome to TomHanksgiving. I'm your host, Elvis Kunesh. Today, I'm joined by the spectacular Samantha Garrison.
Well, thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
Of course. If it sounds like we're whispering today, it's because we are. We're recording outside the Splot Studios and doing kind of a bit of a slumber party TomHanksgiving recording session. Hopefully it sounds good.
But we're actually at Castle Grayskull, which is as yet unfurnished.
Exactly. So. But perfect location, and it actually fits the theme perfectly for our romantic period piece World War II labor of love film today. Every Time We Say Goodbye, directed by Moji Mizrahi, and in the Tom Hanks timeline came out directly after Nothing in Common and right before Dragnet. But notable for us, and especially the two of us, this is his first romantic film after The Money Pit.
Well,
yeah, so
I didn't know that going into this.
Yeah, he's coming off The Money Pit, where we've already basically reached the best Hanks couple we could ever get.
Yeah.
Because you can't top that Shelley Long Hanks charm.
I'm still upset that that's not how you got mail panned out.
I know, but there's still hope for the future. They're both still alive.
And cute.
And adorable. But that's not what we're talking about today. We're talking about Every Time We Say Goodbye, 1986. Moji Mizrahi directed. And starring Tom Hanks and Christina Marcelak as Sarah. And how would you describe the plot of this film?
This is a movie about two star-crossed lovers who meet unexpectedly during World War II in Jerusalem. And what's keeping them apart is the fact that she comes from a very religious Jewish family and he is just sort of, I don't want to say faithless because that is a word that means like shifty. But he's a kind of agnostic American soldier.
A secular soldier
who signed up to fight with the British Army before America had actually joined World War II.
You could even say he's secular and sexular.
We'll get to that.
Okay.
The cool thing about this movie is that I learned something the very minute it started.
Yes.
It opens with this title card explaining what Sephardic Jews are, which are Jewish people that settled in Spain, and when they were displaced and sent back to Palestine and Jerusalem, kept their language and culture. So they actually are Jewish people that live in Jerusalem and Palestine that speak Spanish.
Yeah, which, I mean, is the sort of thing that when you, distance, you're like, oh, of course there are Jewish Spanish-speaking people. But,
the fact that they've settled in Israel and in Palestine and maintained their customs is really kind of amazing. Yeah. And this was before Israel was a state, because it was World War II, right? So it's kind of interesting, because there's just these Jewish people living where you'd expect Jewish people to be, but they're speaking Spanish. Yeah. Which is kind of crazy and kind of awesome. So I learned something right from the get-go.
And that feels like such a weird personal touch for the movie, because, nothing about the movie's subject matter had to have them be this type of Jewish culture.
Yeah, I don't think so. I mean, I think it would have been as easily believable if it had just been a very Orthodox Jewish woman or something.
So, I don't know. It's flavors of authenticity.
Yeah, it was cool.
But yeah, a nice title card, one that was useful. And then we kind of get into it, and we start with, Hanks as... I don't know. I sort of felt like at the beginning of the movie he was kind of like George Costanza, because He was getting out of the hospital from supposedly a war injury, but not a bad one, because all it was a limp, but...
The way that they said it, I thought he straight up had a new leg, like a prosthetic.
That's what I thought too.
But obviously this movie was running on a tight budget, so they opted for easily healed leg injury instead.
Mm-hmm. And like really quickly easily healed, because he leaves, gets an apartment, and then immediately falls for this girl named Sarah. And his leg is too bad to dance, but not too bad to run after her to chase and beat down a belligerent sexual Australian predator. Mm-hmm. And break his cane, and then he's walking fine the rest of the movie.
Sexual Australian predator.
Which is why we think he's probably bullshitting about the
It's
injury.
a fake. It's a fake leg injury.
Mm-hmm. He's trying to get the sympathy points.
Hank Skate. Hank Skazi.
No, let's not go there. So okay, what do you think? Let's jump into Hanks right now. What do you think of him in this movie?
It was weird. He was very out of place.
He feels, he like...
Because he was doing his charming, romantic, like, money pit Tom Hanks self. But he's supposed to be an injured soldier who's unexpectedly fallen in love.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure that his, like, sardonic charm worked here.
It feels too modern and anachronistic with everything else in the piece.
Yeah.
I mean, I like it in the sense it's like, yeah, that feels like just a guy I know, but weirdly grafted on. Like, and obviously, as we've seen in the future of his career, he gets World War II a little better.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like we're bringing bachelor party Hanks into this.
Yeah, it was odd, especially because this handsome British soldier co-star was so, like, perfectly in line with the times.
Oh yeah,
from his
totally
with his boyish charm.
I don't imagine that guy's ever been in a modern film of anything. He's always a period piece guy.
No, he looks like a period piece guy. He's got that adorable, like, he looks good in high-waisted trousers thing about him.
Do you think that, what do you think is Tom Hanks' best scene in this movie?
When he boops the Australian over the head with his cane and breaks it. Tom Hanks is best when he's doing physical comedy, am I right?
No, you're not right. I just feel like that wasn't shot very well. Because it just kind of comes out of nowhere.
It didn't matter. That scene would have been charming if I were watching it on someone's, like,
absolutely.
iPhone.
I don't know. I think we saw, like, it's weird. We talked about, and we're going to start talking about Sarah, too, and the performance there. But the thing that really worked for me in this movie was, and it's, like, kind of, I don't know if it's easy to pull off, but, like, was the longing gaze between the two.
That's all this movie was.
It's very thin.
This had more longing gazes than Twilight, the series, and 50 Shades thus far combined.
Yeah, and I think the problem is like, it's not that it's good, but it's like, it's also like the only really thing that works with the relationship.
Yeah, is their adorable longing gazes, and that you can't build a life on that.
Well, neither of them have a strong enough personality. Certainly not Sarah.
Sarah's grandma would have had words about that.
Sarah's grandma's great.
Sarah's grandma is a baller.
Yeah.
That's my favorite scene in the movie, and it's a shame that Tom Hanks is not in it, but they cut to her and she's got a hookah, and she's just, like, coyly smoking it, like, listening to everything going on and being like, yes.
Well, if you read in the movie, and our theory was that grandma back in her heyday was...
she had a dude.
Oh, there was
some
dudes.
Premarital sex happening for grandma.
And
not with grandpa either.
No. Which colors his line later when he's like...
No, that was dad. That was grandma's son.
That was grandma's son?
Yeah,
Is grandpa... No, that was grandpa,
Grandpa's out of the picture. That was dad.
Whoa.
Because dad's married to mom, who has the severe part and the very, like,
I remember mom,
severe
yeah.
hairline. Yeah, those two are a couple.
Okay.
Because they're angry together.
Well, I mean, it doesn't...
Grandma's chill AF.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, I guess it makes sense that grandma's, like, more open about it now that grandpa's out of the picture, but...
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me. I mean, considering that, cousins in this family are all about...
Boning?
Can
we talk about the cousins for a second and the brothers?
Let's talk about the whole family.
Outside of grandma, there's this whole... Sarah has a whole extended family. Where the shenanigans ensue. She's worried about dating this guy because she doesn't want to disappoint her very large, meddlesome family.
Which is also very orthodox, religious. It's definitely a Romeo and Juliet setup.
Very much, yeah.
Not only is he British, he's an American.
So the Tybalt, who was also Juliet's first cousin who wanted to marry her in Romeo and Juliet, but the Tybalt in this instance is a guy named Nassim, who is allegedly 28. Sarah's 18. He's allegedly 28, but he looks to be about 65.
He's got the...
Okay, I mean like 40, but still, he looks old.
He's got that young Grand Moff Tarkin face.
Yeah, I'm 28, and if that's how I look, I need help.
Yeah, you've got a couple more years before reaching Nassim.
And you're older than him.
Well, you don't need to
tell
the audience that.
Okay, sorry. Elvis has Tom Hanks' boyish charm and is going to be 25 until he's like 40.
Thank you.
Elvis is in his 25 phase and does not look a damn thing like Nassim here. Your hair is better than his. His hair was gray. And he had like milky blue eyes, like not cute blue eyes. Like we're not talking like Paul Walker or a Hemsworth here.
No, they were the blue eyes that are like when the body has been embalmed.
Yeah.
And you open the eyes, it's like, oh, they're still in there, but they're
just
fading.
They're kind of like insipid. Is that the word for it? Like just like sad.
You know what? Something about him made me think that he belonged in a sword and sandals ancient Greece period piece.
Yes. Yeah, but like as the effete like enemy emperor.
Lieutenant or something. Yeah, he's not even cool enough to be emperor.
No, he was like Joaquin Phoenix's shitty bro in Gladiator.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Like his name would have been Tiberius, and he would have been like the mini boss before the big boss battle.
Mm-hmm. So
sorry, Nassim. I actually kind of liked Nassim by the end.
You definitely came around to Nassim.
I did, but he still looked old as shit.
Yeah.
And then there were her brothers. There was the boxer brother.
Yeah.
Who got a black eye. There was tear his shirt off with rage brother.
My favorite brother.
Yeah. And then there was woke bay brother. One of them was named Sammy. I'm assigning it to woke bay brother because he was the one that helped her and was like, girl, everyone's treating you real bad. Like,
you gotta get out. Go see this guy.
And
chase your dreams.
And so he helped her. He was really cool.
And that might sound like we're giving the short shrift to the family, the brother character specifically, but that's about all the personality they had.
Yeah.
Considering our two leads barely had any, so
yeah,
it's lucky they got an adjective.
This was rough. And Mom was angry and had a severe part.
Oh, Mom.
Oh, and then there was Nassim's dad, who was Jolly Uncle, who probably bossed his wife around too much, like did it with a little bit of flair.
He did it with that 50s charm.
Yeah, so you were like, oh, it's just, he's a product of his times, when really, like...
Adorable misogyny.
Like, kind of sexist, but generally better than everyone else around him.
Yeah, and I mean, like, his curiosity got to me.
But literally everyone in this movie is, like, a little bit too not about letting the ladies make their own decisions.
Yes.
Even Tom Hanks, sorry.
Hey, not Tom Hanks. His character name, which I've already forgotten.
His character name was David.
David, right, which is a strong Jewish name.
Yeah.
But he's not Jewish.
No.
He's the son of a Protestant minister.
Yeah.
Which I think did we go over that already?
No.
Yeah, but that's where the secularness comes
like, double down. Like, not only is he not religious, but he's, like, tossed off his own Judeo-Christian underpinnings. And disappointed his father. And
then he starts to throw out, like...
And then he tries to lay down some premarital sex on this innocent 18-year-old.
How old was Hanks? Did we ever get his age?
They never said, but if Nassim is 28, everyone else is, like, 16.
The character, I don't think David's older than 24.
Yeah.
No, he's still pretty young. So it lines up, it matches.
When he meets poor Sarah... the reason that they're meeting is because Sarah's best friend...
BFF Victoria.
Who
I had a little crush on Victoria.
Victoria is a dramatic, sultry lady, and I am all about it. I'd be her friend.
Sultry's the word, yeah. Oh my God.
So she's
got these smoky eyes, something about her.
She's like saucy, she's got great hair, she dresses well, she's clearly more adventurous, and she's in love with Tom Hanks' best British bud, the cutie that we were talking about earlier. And... And they're planning on getting married. So they are trying, but they have to sneak around because, again, she's Jewish, she's not.
It's kind of the whole setup of...
Yeah, they're sneaking around, and that's how Sarah and David meet because they're, helping their friends sneak.
And it's immediately Tom Hanks is like, oh, there's a woman here, I'm going to go for it.
Because she's super cute. Here's the thing. She is actually, this actress is, super adorable.
Her accent is phenomenal.
Aces.
Makes my heart sing.
Yeah.
She's kind of got, a little bit of an Amelie look.
Yeah, she's super cute. She's got the bob, but without the bangs. She's got these giant eyes. She's beautiful. She's speaking Spanish, but with a little bit of that Israeli flavor. Like, she's super cute. I get it. Like, I totally get why he's all about it from the get-go. And she's wearing this pencil skirt that is just super well-tailored for her. So he is immediately smitten with her, but he's trying to play it cool because he just got done lecturing his buddy about how stupid love and marriage are. T. Hanks falls for this girl. He can't dance with her because he's still got a cane.
But we don't know if that's a cover at this point.
Yeah.
Hank's cane.
Allegedly, he's got a limp. And
at that point, he's just...
brutish Australian comes over to ask Sarah to dance. And he's like, well, if the lady wants. And she says, like, yeah. And then the guy gets handsy with her because he's drunk. And she gets mad because Tom Hanks knew the dude was drunk and still let her go ahead with it. Like, this girl is naive. But then he, like, chases after her as best he can while he's limping. Which is actually pretty fast, which is how we knew something was up.
Yeah, something's going on there.
Yeah. So he chases after her. Her cousin, like, tries to accost the Australian. And then Tom Hanks comes along and cracks him over the head with his cane. Sarah's like, oh my God, thank you, but she's also embarrassed and doesn't want Nassim to know they've been hanging out. She definitely doesn't want anyone to know Victoria was there. Mm-hmm. Shenanigans ensue. Tom Hanks ends up, like, befriending her whole family because he just saved her from Australian sexual predator.
I was going to say, it's very naive of Nassim to invite him because it almost feels like, how did you not see this was the competition?
But I think that's the thing. Like, they grew up together, so Nassim, like, even though he's 28, like, he's clearly a young 28 if he's been broing down with this chick 10 years younger than him his whole life. Yeah. Like, this guy never grew up. So, feel kind of bad for Nazim, but then David, Tom Hanks, he keeps trying to ask out Sarah, and she's like, no, but, like, I really don't want to hang out with you, because she knows it's going to be as hard as it was for them as it is for Victoria and his bro.
But there was some longing looks. He got signals.
But she's like 18. He's a grown-ass man that's in combat. He needs to calm his titties. So...
I think she needs to calm her titties. We'll get to that.
Anyway, so that's kind of how this whole thing is set up. But the whole time he's, like, kind of badgering her into going out on a date, even though she's trying really hard to make good, rational decisions because she loves her family.
This is okay. Yeah, there's a part I do have to say, remembering how charmingly obnoxious he was at the first time he asked her out and was hitting on her at the Victoria. Friend
shindig,
day.
Yeah.
That was pretty amusing. But yeah, then it just becomes uncomfortable. Like it's like, you're not getting the picture.
He shows up
Tom Hanks.
at her house.
And it's like I'm seeing every
with, like,
friend.
Food and flowers. All of the lady members of her family are there. And he asks permission. And she's like, I already told you, I'm not interested. And then her mom gets, like, this is how her mom gets wind of everything. It's like, I forbid you from seeing this boy again. But of course they see each other.
Well, I want to get to that. But, like, first... Just, yeah, that the sheer embarrassment I felt when he was asking her out in front of her family, that might be... That's
like when I got up to grab a beer, because I felt shame.
But it was, in that sense, it's, like, really, really good. Because, like, that's that's the single most evocative moment of the movie, because it made me feel something.
Yeah, that's fair. Because otherwise it's just, like, watching people stare at each other longingly.
Which is, I mean, that's how love is, but it's boring to watch, usually.
Yeah.
Yeah, just super cringeworthy. And in that sense, like, you don't see Tom Hanks do a lot of cringeworthy stuff. And I think he nailed it.
Most of Money Pit was just one cringe after another.
But that wasn't because he did something embarrassing. It was the movie being embarrassing with the jokes it was telling.
I mean, he was kind of a dick through that whole movie, though. And you're just like, ooh, don't do that. Ooh.
True, but I feel for me this was a different kind of cringe.
That's fair.
There's a cringe when it's like, oh, Frankie Muniz when he was Malcolm in the Middle, got his boxers thrown off at the swim park, and no, he's naked. But then
there's like for me, like, the epitome of that is, I don't know if you've seen the Sandra Bullock movie 2 Weeks Notice, where she gets drunk in front of her boss Hugh Grant and says she's a salty, twisty Bobcat pretzel. I felt so much secondhand embarrassment in that moment. For that character, I can't to this day, like, I like that movie, but I cannot watch that scene. That's how I felt with Hanks walking into that room. I was just like,
it's also just really hard because it's like, it's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
We love this guy, and obviously
don't be a salty, twisty Bobcat pretzel.
He's playing a character, but yeah, he's doing, and you're like, you're better than this. Come on, oh gosh.
Yeah.
And it's in that way it was perfect because it was like watching so many of my guy friends being like, oh, you don't know what you're doing. God, no, you're not reading the signals. And then thinking about me doing the exact same thing and making the same mistakes. It's like, but here's where I gotta ask you a question.
I never have that problem because I'm smooth as fuck. No, I'm kidding.
the resident expert on the female mind, I'm putting that on you.
Okay.
Okay, so we were, as the movie was going, we had a bit of a conversation going, and I think this movie is part of the problem in creating the perception that, like, men don't know how to read women, but in the sense that she totally is into them and sending them signals, and then, like, I understand when a no means no, but there's, like, a part where the no means yes here?
Yeah, but I think that just is, like, a byproduct of it being some, like, dude's story. You know, it's written and directed by a guy.
So if this was reality.
In general, I think most people are more straightforward about what they want than...
You think she would have been like, I like you, but I can't do it for these reasons.
But I think
he's not that he's
like,
owed an explanation.
No, exactly. I think that's the thing. At the end of the day, she was like, no, like, please leave me alone, so she could just go on about her business instead of falling more for this guy that there was already some chemistry with, you know?
Yeah.
And instead, we get, like...
Sorry, my leg is falling asleep.
All good, dude. No, it was just... I don't know. I feel like women are a lot less complicated than anyone gives them credit for. Like, her no was perfectly reasonable whether or not there was chemistry there. Like, you can have chemistry with a person and still not want to date them.
Oh, absolutely.
You know? That's a perfectly reasonable thing to just, like, back off from. And I think movies teach us that, like, persistence is cool, but I don't know if that's always the case.
No, most of the time persistence is unwarranted. It's uncomfortable.
And unwelcome.
That's the right.
So that's where I think, like... No one like, people are generally not very complicated. I always joke, like, I hang out with dogs a lot. The more I hang out with dogs, the easier it is to relate to people, because dogs are pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
You see how they interact with one another. With humans, you kind of, like, you figure out which ones are scared, which ones are cool, which ones are taking to their training, which ones aren't. People are the same way. You know, you figure out which ones are scared, which ones are, like... a little bit more into humping the other dogs, like, and then you learn to kind of manage those expectations. Like, at the end of the day, like, even as complicated as it feels in our heads, like, we only want a few basic things. And I think, like, to say women are complicated is kind of silly.
Yeah, we're all people. I certainly didn't want to say that was true of real life, but I feel like it was certainly coming through.
Oh, in this movie, for sure. Like, I think that's the thing, too. Like, movies are inherently dramatic. It's just unfortunate that, like, women tend to be made more complicated than, like, more often than men are. The flip, you know? Because, like, drama needs to happen, so people need to misunderstand one another.
And that's usually, like, I feel like it's going to be more commonplace in romantic drama or romantic comedies too, because the complications usually have to come from the people. Honestly,
it wouldn't be such an issue if it were, like, the other way around more often. You know, where a girl was, like, into a dude. Like, if I'm in a romantic comedy and some Chris Hemsworth dude comes up to me and I'm just like, I want to date you, and he's like, I can't. It's not just because he's, like, way hotter than me and doesn't want to. It's like,
he kind of
you have to have a reason.
Yes.
I know from your longing looks that I'm going to keep at this, bro.
And as an exceptionally moody and fickle guy, they exist. Mm-hmm. And I don't mind being the one that's being sought after. What's wrong with that? But this does bring me to a tangential point to the theme of this movie, or at least a running idea that they're playing with, is that it's sort of like the complication of... Let's imagine a hypothetical situation very similar to this movie, where it's like, okay, there are two people who love each other, who are like magic, but extenuating circumstances prevent them from being together in a realistic, everyday sense. What do you do in that situation? Do you go for it? Do you not? Like, 'cause she's playing the logical side. At first.
Yeah, 100%, because she cares about her family and she's trying to figure out what's going to cause the least pain for her. But I think...
Is it... Okay, I guess that's the point. Like, where is the ratio between pain to passion?
That's something for everyone to figure out themselves.
Right.
Like, that is what that's what a relationship is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like figuring out like you're the person I want to be with, but you come with all this baggage and I come with all this baggage. And like at a certain point everyone does. Like even if it's positive stuff, like I have a family that I'm very, very close to. Mm-hmm. So if I date someone, like they kind of have to either embrace that or put up with it. Like, and it's like, you just have to decide like at what point are things worth it? I mean, my sister and her husband were apart for like 2 years because they were both military and they made the decision that like, this is worth it. And I don't think I could do that. I'm very glad they did. Like, I really think my brother-in-law is super cool. My sister's super happy. They've made it work. They're like, and now they're together and it's like, it's magical. Wonderful. It's so cool. Like, I love hanging out with them because their joy is infectious. But, you know, I'm her sister. So I heard a lot of those phone calls and stuff where like the days, like the less appealing days. But they made that decision together and that's,
at what point...
what it was, you know?
Okay, at what point does Hanks's behavior, his continued love for this girl, despite the unrealistic circumstances, does that become problematic?
I don't think it ever really was.
Because this actually ties into something we didn't get a chance to talk about on our Forrest Gump episode.
I think, honestly, like, the reasons he pursued her are, like, always... Like, it's always kind of annoying when someone's, like, a little relentless, but I think... The way that they went about it, like, once she was on board, she was really on board. Yeah. And I think that her options in this movie were either, like, a really
limited.
So in this movie, she's presented with two options. She's got Tom Hanks, where she has to either choose kind of forsaking her family. They won't accept her if she goes with this guy. And a life where she's either going to have to move around the world a lot, wait for him to come back from the war, or if they live in Jerusalem, like, life is going to be tough for both of them. Or she can choose this other guy, Nassim, who also happens to be her cousin. She doesn't love him, but she knows he'll be a good husband. Like, he genuinely does love and care about her. And
he's got enough love for both of them.
Yeah, and he comes to her with this plea. She was like, would you marry me? And he was like, I'd die for you. She's like, no, I'm asking if you'd marry me. And he's like, yeah, like, I love you. I know I'd be a great husband.
He's a solid second choice. You'd be a good wife.
Yeah. Honestly, he would have been a commendable first choice, given that the rest of her family seemed like kind of dickish. The fact that he even respected her agency enough to say, like, it's okay that you don't love me. Like, I'd spend my life trying to convince you. But, like, as companions, because marriage hasn't always been about love.
Oh, no, like, no. I mean, that, you know, when I separated from that, that makes sense.
He was such, like, a realistic person and, like, so sincere in what he had to offer. And she'd get to keep her family, even though she wouldn't have the passion. And she'd always be missing that part of her life, you know? I
like his realism about a marriage. Because, like, marriage, you know, it could be seen and has been seen for probably more of its existence as a business transaction. Mm-hmm. But when I think about the way he was like, maybe you can learn to love me over time, that always just gets me like, ooh, no, I don't think that's how it works.
But I also think...
You can go... I mean, you'd appreciate it, but there's a difference.
Well, I think there's different types of love, too, you know? For sure. And maybe at a certain point she would, like, come to love him for the fact that he'd give her a really good life. And she'd get to still be around her family. And she'd get to have all these things that, like, it's clear she kind of wants. Mm-hmm. And I think that's where...
So do you think she made the right choice at the end?
Yeah, I do. But I think, like, she didn't have any bad choices. Because either way, she was away from living with her parents, who were the real dicks here.
Yeah, her mom was the worst.
Awful. So she spends the night with Tom Hanks' character.
Nothing
happens.
Anything.
No, they just spend the night together, like, snuggling.
A little kissing.
Yeah.
Kissing in some alleyway. That's some good move, Hanks. Yeah.
And nothing happens, though. And she gets back home, and her parents are, like, screaming at her. They don't believe her.
She's not pure anymore.
She's not pure. They're so mad. And then she wakes up the next morning, and her mom has stolen her clothes. And she's like... You don't need them. You're not going anywhere.
I didn't mind that tactic from Mom.
And she was like, who cares? Like, you could walk through the streets naked, whore.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you did that.
It's like, damn, Mom, that's cold. Like, believe your daughter. You know, you were young once. Grandma was young once. She gets it.
She does.
But Mom does not. Yeah. Mom has had a very unsatisfying life and wants to share her dissatisfaction with the world and her daughter.
I feel like that was true of most of the women in this movie, because even, like, the aunt of cool uncle and kind of gets a little judgy at the end there.
And her sister Clara was always keen to rat her out. It's because Clara wasn't as cute. No, I'm kidding. Clara was like the Khloe Kardashian of that family. Because even at the end, her dad's like, do you love the American? And it seems like that conversation's going really well. And then he's like, well, if you see him,
you're not a part of this family.
You're not a part of this family, and the law frowns upon you. And it's like, you could change that. Like, there's nothing saying you have to kick her out.
Yeah, that's all on you, Dad.
Yeah.
You're the patriarch here. No, but I mean, obviously, I'm going to be a romantic, especially for Tom Hanks. I'm glad that she made that choice. But this is a bit of a tangent. But bear with me. Maybe it leans even more into the, like I said, the Forrest Gump conversation. I didn't get to bring this up when we were talking with you and Brian. But so Forrest is obviously a simple man, but he loves Jenny his whole life. Mm-hmm. At what point does that become, dude, you gotta move, or because he's not...
In Forrest's case, like... I think because he was capable and did love so many other people on his journey, I think fine. Like, he was never going to have...
As long as it's not stopping you from loving someone else.
Exactly, but I think he loved Bubba in a similar way because he wasn't, like, terribly romantic.
It's true. Forrest is a hard example, but...
Yeah, so I think Forrest did learn to love other people and had room in his heart for a lot of things. I think... he was never going to have a super normal relationship, and it's cool that... No, I don't mean that in, like, a mean way.
No, like, you're right. I'm thinking about something else.
Yeah, he was just, like, his life was never going to be, like, super normal, and he did love and care for a lot of people. In this case, I think... I don't know, you often hear stories, though, about older people that have, like... had really nice lives and marriages, but always, like, pined for someone else because it was so much harder to bridge things like distance.
Yeah.
When they didn't have social media. I have letters, like, my grandma saved a bunch of letters that my grandpa wrote when he was in Korea. He was in the Korean War. And they were, like, newly engaged and, like, came from the same hometown and stuff. And it was still so hard for them to end up, like, together. And it's just... And these were people that, like, were going to come back to each other. Like, everything went the way it was supposed to, and he did. And it was still just, like, such a pain in the butt. So imagine two people who, after the war is over, go to two different countries. Like, it is just such...
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you're going to pine, but I think, like, she was prepared to have a perfectly functional and practical and probably, like, pretty happy life.
Yeah.
And I think it's you can pine. It's possible to love multiple people at once.
That's true. I think it's true.
And in different ways. Like, I don't know. Even if you love someone passionately, you can love someone else passionately in a different way.
Or passionlessly.
Passionlessly, I know. Like,
not as much fun usually, but it's not bad.
But there's also, like, that's why we have friends and stuff, you know?
I think you can love your friends passionately without any sort of romantic compassion.
Yeah, for sure. And I think... I don't know. You can love a lot of different people.
Yeah. Life is long.
And hearts are big.
And frail.
I don't think so. I think...
They're resilient, that's for sure.
The actual heart is like a muscle, right? So the more it works, the stronger it gets. Like any muscle.
Do you even lift, bro?
I'm wearing a deadlift shirt right now. I don't, though.
But in the context of your heart, I suppose, you have to work your heart out.
You have to keep opening yourself up because they're really not that fragile. It hurts, but it hurts after a workout, and then you get stronger. Like that's what it means to be a person, is just like continuing to get up and like open yourself up.
Yeah. So this might be the most sensual Tom Hanks sex scene we've ever seen.
I'm so excited about this.
Like, okay, so they finally do get together, and it is, whoo. Okay, so
so weird.
Actually, before we get to that, this whole movie has the experience of, and maybe tell me if you agree. This whole movie has the experience of watching a really good friend, one of your best friends, act in the high school play. Both the way the staging is and the just kind of like the very cheap production design and the cheap feel of it, and the fact like it's shot like a directing 2 film from Columbia College.
Oh my god,
it's so simplistic, but it's getting that out of the way. What I love about the sex scene is that so she goes to the end of the room, starts unbuttoning her shirt, fade to black.
In typical Tom Hanks movie fashion.
Okay, that makes sense. They're gonna have sex. We're not gonna see the fun bits. But nope, fade back, and boom, there's a boob.
Just one boob.
A single boob is out.
And a single Hank sniff.
Yeah, so together, and this was for understandable reasons, my favorite image of the movie. I think the composition, the mise en scène was beautiful, and the way that their bodies... The boob was great, but the way their bodies were together, and yes, the inner halves of their chests were covered because they were leaning together, it formed a perfect union. So together they had the perfect rack. Perhaps the rack wasn't perfect, but it was singular. It was whole.
Yes.
Much like the impeccable shot of David Lynch's Mulholland Drive when... You've never seen it? Well, Tom Hanks is in it. It's fine. But there's a similar shot.
I made it through film school without seeing Mulholland Drive or Godfather 2.
I've never seen Godfather 1, 2, or 3.
I think I have them here.
I don't really.
I want to eat dinner after this, though.
That's fine. You'll get time.
Yeah.
But no, back to the sex scene. But yeah, so you get one very nice big boob, and then there's another one, and
the other one makes a cameo.
Yeah, it pops out.
And then, well, actually, before that, so when her mom takes away all of her clothes.
Oh no! Before that, you gotta remember.
You get like shadow boob.
Oh right, because it's a very sheer top. Because her mom
takes away all of her clothes, and so she's just in like a slip, and it's not covering what I don't know if the lighting just allowed for more to peek through, but yeah, so definitely the most sensuous Tom Hanks movie.
Yeah, I mean, and certainly that scene because
you get a lot of Tom Hanks shirtless.
A lot of Tom Hanks. It's not the most Hanks nudity. We've gotten more.
Well, because Castaway was just him in a grass skirt on an island.
There's that, but there's also Splash where he's naked in the thing, covering up his genitals, and there's also the full ass shot we get in Charlie Wilson's War.
I've never seen that. I don't know that I need to.
Full Hank's ass. You want to see it?
It's never going to be as impressive as what it is in my mind.
That's true. It's also older Hank's ass. So.
Ooh.
Hey, still he's keeping it tight.
It's yeah, that's fair. It's probably still better than Nassim's at 28.
Yeah.
2 conspiracies in this film.
Yeah.
Nassim, not 28. Hanks, not actually injured.
So this kind of leads into your theory of how they're similar.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, aside from conspiracy theories, no, I think both of them are not great at initially listening to what Sarah wants, but I think they both do genuinely care about her and care for her and do want to see her have the best life that she can.
With their own flaws.
Yeah, they're both deeply flawed and both like products of their times and cultures, but ultimately I don't think, like I said, I don't think she had a bad choice. I think I'm happy with the choice she made.
I think the fact
I think it's always more exciting to watch someone choose passion than to not, obviously.
I mean, wait, she's also 18. If she chose Nassim, she's like really boring.
Right, that's like...
Choose Nassim in 10 years when it didn't work out.
Yeah, right.
He's not going
like, stuck
anywhere.
back in Israel like a shamed woman, and then he still looks like he's 67.
Yeah, he's going to age great in that sense.
Yeah, he's always just going to look old.
Yeah.
So...
He's got that Larry David face going on.
Yeah. So I don't know. Like I came around on Nassim, especially because he wasn't as angry as the rest of her family. I mean, he wasn't ripping off his shirt in rage. He did not participate in her kidnap.
Yeah, that was messed up.
Yeah, okay. So there's a moment where the first night that she spends with Hanks where nothing happens. The reason it ends is not because she goes home, even though she was about to. They were making plans to meet the next day. It's because her brothers show up and abduct her. And take her back to her home where her whole family slut shames and like condemns her for nothing. They don't even listen to her. They don't give her a chance to plead her case. They're just like, you were making eyes with an American. We assumed you boned. And her brothers were like, we found her in her apartment. And it was just horrible. It was like really inappropriate and unkind. And one of her brothers literally rips his shirt off in anger.
It was one of the funnier parts of the
movie.
video.
But woke brother was like, you guys need to stop. And they're like, shut up! So this family is just too mean. I feel like they definitely, like, she had 2 great options that were not being with her family.
Yeah, and as someone who has had, always had a rougher patch with the family, get away from it. It's perfect.
Yeah.
Go join Hanks's family.
Yeah.
That's my dream.
Yeah. His dad seems distant but not unloving, so.
Yeah.
You know.
Before I forget, I want to point out what I think is the funniest part of the movie. It's not the shirt ripping off scene, actually.
And it's not the booping in the head. It's not the
It's not. No.
Predator.
I almost forgot. It's the part. It's actually the night. It's right before she gets kidnapped because they're about to have sex and then she stops, and then she says, "You're not angry?" And then just Tom Hanks' reading of No, I'm not angry because he's
clearly angry.
But not in a like I was owed this, but it's like come on.
Yeah, just yes.
Oh, nails that line. Nails it.
That's why they cast Tom Hanks for that moment.
Yes, and I believe it. So to wrap things up, kind of, I think this is the last real couple. I mean, this is the last real romance couple movie we're doing on TomHanksgiving. Now we can kind of compare and contrast with all the others.
Oh.
Where does this stack on the Hanks rom-com couple? Granted, this isn't rom-com, it's rom-dram.
I mean, we laughed a lot, though.
Was that intentional? Probably not. Some of it.
I mean, look, Shelley Long was the best.
The movie was not the best, but the couple chemistry.
He and Meg Ryan have just done so much together, and by and large, it's been good.
Better. Do you think that they're a better couple than Meg Ryan and Tom Hanks?
What do you mean?
These two.
No.
Yeah,
I mean,
I wouldn't say
even the booby bonus points don't get them there.
The booby bonus points go quite a way.
For you.
It might still not be my favorite Tom Hanks sex scene, though. I think is still going to go to the Green Mile with him and Bonnie Hunt. It's just too funny, and I think I like him and Bonnie Hunt a little bit more too because
Bonnie Hunt is endlessly likable.
She is almost the female Tom Hanks in that way.
Yeah, no, she's super likable.
Yeah.
So there's that. What other couples like him and Halle Berry and Cloud Atlas? I'm here for it. No,
only that one part.
I just like
him and Sally Field in Punchline.
Oh, I did not. The more I thought about that movie after we watched it on like TomHanksgiving proper, the more angry it made me.
But it's a good movie, though.
Yeah, but they're a bad couple.
Oh,
I like Sarah and David better than.
In terms of couples, yes. Movies, no.
It's not a great movie though either. It's like infuriating.
Oh, I would disagree. I think it's a fantastic movie.
I don't know that. I don't know that. It gets. I think we read into it more than what was there, kind of thing.
Well, that's your opinion. I think. Okay, here's what we're gonna put Sarah and Tom. Or Sarah and David, they're not at the bottom of the list. I think whoever, I can't remember the name of the girl, the characters.
Low middle for sure.
Low middle, but they're above the bachelor party couple, above him and the girl in He Knows You're Alone. And,
I've never seen that one.
It's incredible. And certainly above him and the Man with One Red Shoe. Although I'd say that's probably about on par.
Yeah. That's fair.
Mm-hmm. So
I did watch that one for context because I was in the short.
Sorry. And that's all the time we got. That's all we got for every time we say goodbye. And it hurts me because every time we say goodbye to you, Sam, it might be the last time you're on the show, and this might actually be.
Because I've been like your resident Tom Hanks romance person.
We're done with I felt like you had to come in for one more.
That's fair. I appreciate it.
Yeah. So every time we say goodbye to you, Sam, it breaks my heart a little bit.
Oh my!
But you know what? Tom Hanks is always going to make more movies, and the next romance he does, you're going to be in.
I'm here for it.
Especially when he does the Shelley Long Tom Hanks reunion.
God, that needs to happen.
It's going to happen. We're going to make that happen. That's the goal of Tom Hanks.
Putting it out there into the universe.
Yeah.
If the secret is real, it needs to be for this.
In the meantime, where can the lovers out there find you? What can they do?
I'm on Twitter, Instagram, and the Facebooks at SammyJane613. The Fear the Chick Flick archives are still up at filmtakeout.com. I'm currently on a break from projects, but hopefully I'll have more new stuff for you in the future.
And just follow her on Twitter, and that's when you'll find out.
You'll know for sure. And if you want, follow me on Instagram, most importantly, because that's where I post cute adoptable dogs that need your love.
Yes. Follow that Instagram.
Am I allowed to pitch not my own projects but like cute homeless dogs? Yeah, help them find homes. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And of course follow me, Elvis Kaboom, on Twitter and Instagram, and the podcast at Tom Hanks Pod. Tell us, who is your favorite Tom Hanks couple? It's probably going to be Tom Hanks and Meg Ryan, but where do you think David and Sarah fall on the list? Let us know. And don't forget to come back next week when we talk about Tom Hanks' guest starring role in Happy Days, Season 10, Episode 5, A Little Case of Revenge. Until next time, Hanks for listening.
Tom Hanks, we fell in love with you, Tom Hanks, just like so many do deeply, because you made us smile, and you're great on screen style, so that's why we give thanks, 'cause you got a friend.